like Dave said, I'm here as sort of the actual real-life example of using both Chartio and Panoply. So CoreOS is a customer of both, and I'm going to be talking about our data governance situation and also giving you a little bit of background to how we got to where we are now. So, go back. First of all, who I am, again, I'm Natasha. I'm the Marketing Operations Manager at CoreOS. So, as part of my duties as the Marketing Operations Manager, I do all the marketing reporting for my team. I also happen to be the person who implemented all of our business intelligence infrastructure. That's probably unique to our organization. I don't think everyone has a marketing person implementing BI, but that's where we are at CoreOS. So a little agenda for my talk. I'm going to start out talking about why CoreOS decided to add business intelligence for our company, why we ended up choosing Chartio and Panoply, the positives that we've experienced through growing our usage with both of these tools, and the challenges that we've hit as well. And then I'm going to end with going over those challenges, which are going to be our data governance issues and how we're trying to solve them. Okay, so before Chartio and Panoply, before we had BI, the situation at CoreOS was messy. So we had data analysis really just being done in spreadsheets and in the various platforms, so like Salesforce and Google Analytics or whatever platform we were using, and then you'd export the spreadsheet and you'd do more analysis there, and then you'd save it, and then you'd pass it around. So what it lacked there was information in real time. I wasn't ever really sure when this analysis was done, and it was not up to date. There wasn't very much transparency, so I'd look at this and not know what actually was being done to the raw data, not really knowing how they came up with the numbers that they did. So obviously not a great situation. And for me in particular, when I joined CoreOS, we didn't have a reporting system for marketing. There wasn't really data on the marketing team that was being translated to leadership. So we needed something especially for the marketing team, and that's sort of why I ended up being the driver for adding business intelligence for the company. So we ended up being a customer of both Chartio and Panoply. One of the big reasons why is we don't have a data team or BI team at CoreOS, so we're limited in our resources there. We needed a system that would handle all that ETL and warehousing work because we can't do it ourselves. So that's where Panoply sort of solved that problem. And then with Chartio, we really needed a tool that not only was good for a small company that doesn't have a data and a BI team, but we wanted something that would allow a non-technical business user to be able to use it well. Like I said, we started out with marketing and sales being the primary users, so we're not known for being really good at SQL. And we definitely wanted something that wouldn't result in like data lockdown. We didn't want to have like that centralized system where everything is done through one person. We wanted to empower people in the organization to all have access. So Chartio and Panoply together really suited those needs for us. So when we started out using Chartio and Panoply, this was in April of this year, it was a clean slate. We only had like 2 data sources connected, and this was Google Analytics and Salesforce. We had a couple people using the tool, and it was really only sales and marketing who are in there. And at this point, I think it would be like the data heroes that Dave talked about. So there really was like 1-2 people who were doing everything, and that's sort of where we started out. And then it's been 3 months about since we launched the usage, and now it's actually kind of messy. So I'm really impressed that this has happened in 3 months, honestly, but we've added a number of data sources, and I'm sure the Panoply guys hate me because I ask them for like a new one every single day. And then we have gone from like a couple of people inside the tool to over 40 now. So this has just sort of happened on its own with people liking what they're seeing and wanting to get in there and use it themselves. And like I said, we started out with just marketing and sales, but now we've added product and customer success, and they're starting to use our tools, and lots of dashboards. So in this 3 months' time, there's been a lot of positive outcomes for us. For me, especially, and my sales operations counterpart, the biggest thing for us has been we can do our reporting really, really fast. Because we don't use that sort of centralized system where we have to go through a predefined data set or go through the data person, I can do anything I want in terms of analysis right away. So for example, this week I had a request to do this lead analysis for a board meeting. I had no notice for it, and I was able to just do it in an hour. Just easy, quick. Similarly, sales has also found that time to value really affecting them. We have a really complicated and customized Salesforce setup. And so there are things that our sales operations team, they just cannot do in Salesforce. It's just not possible. It doesn't let you do it. And they can do it in Chartio and save it in a dashboard, and it's done. And they don't have to go through the headache of exporting out spreadsheets, doing the analysis, and sending them around. Some other great positive outcomes is just the transparency for the business. Now we can see what's going on from beginning to end. And marketing team especially, we were the ones that wanted a BI tool. And now we've been able to discover a lot of really important things, like where do we need resources, what's been going on, how we met our goals. And so this has really solved a lot of those problems. Now we've had all these great outcomes, but we also added 40 people in 3 months to our BI tool, and we've given them access to everything. So we've had, in my perspective, the biggest issues we've run into are data governance issues. And they're basically everything that Dave talked about. So it's issues with people coming in and not knowing where to find data, not knowing how data is defined, or misinterpreting data, or coming up with their own analysis that directly conflicts with something else that's in there. For me particularly, I'm the leader of the marketing team's reporting, so I do stuff like create the lead funnel. And then we have other people come in and they want to have a lead funnel analysis, and they'll create it their own way. And then it's going to be different than my lead funnel. And then we have a lot of conflict of well, who's right, who's wrong, what does this mean, why are there two different numbers? So like Dave said, this really sucks. It's not fun. So how, I guess, next slide. How are we approaching this problem? What are we doing? For me, seeing all this happen, seeing the conflict, the first thing I decided to do was say, hey, we have a problem. I think 3 months' time is pretty quick to be implementing a data governance strategy, but obviously if we're having direct conflict with our analysis, we need to do something now rather than later. So our approach is to have a data governor team. Like Dave was talking about, we're literally implementing a data governor team at CoreOS. Okay, so our data governance strategy, which is just getting up and off the road, is data governors. So every person, or I should say every team that's using Chartio needs to have a data governor. So right now we have sales, marketing, product, and customer success. We have a data governor for each of those teams. So these people, these data governors, are being promoted to have all these really great responsibilities. They have to help their team members. If anyone gets added into Chartio, they need to be responsible for helping them and training them. They need to understand the data that they're using, but they also need to understand what else is out there in Chartio so that they can find it and not continue having these conflicts where they're creating the lead funnel differently than I am. Okay, so I'm asking these people to take on these huge responsibilities, but how are they going to do it? So one of the things that we're in the process of doing that I'm hoping will help solve these problems is adding what I'm calling resource centers into Chartio. So this is literally like a dashboard in Chartio that I'm hoping we'll like have everything you might need, like an index of other dashboards and documentation and examples. And this would be for each team that's using Chartio. And I guess the next slide. So this is like my work in progress, but my marketing's resource center dashboard. So I'm literally going to put in where can you find the other dashboards that the marketing team has, and where's the documentation that helps explain that. I think that for us, like marketing tends to be pretty complex. Like we have so many things that we have to explain what they mean. There's channels, there's programs, there's leads, there's how does the lead defined, and it's complicated. I'm putting, who is responsible for this? Well, it's me, and how do you contact me? And there's my email address and my Slack handle. And then below that, there's going to be examples of actual charts, the things I'm finding that are most commonly requested, and so that you can either look at it and see how it's made, or clone it and use it your own way. But in the end, I'm hoping that at the very least, this will have people come to me if they're confused and they want more explanation, and that we'll talk, and so that instead of arguing after the fact about the lead funnel, that we'll just come to the conclusion beforehand and have that all sorted out. Okay, and then the last way I'm hoping that we'll accomplish all this is communication. So that might sound a little silly, but I honestly think this is going to be like the most important thing for us. CoreOS is a smallish company, but we are across several time zones. We have offices in San Francisco, New York, and Berlin, and we're continuing to grow. Right now, all of our data governors are in San Francisco, but I don't expect this to continue on for very much longer. So we need to be communicating all the time and be very effective about that communication. So I have regular meetings with my sales operations counterpart because I think we have the most conflict, marketing and sales, in terms of our reporting, so we're already on top of that. But I also have our data governors check in with our customer success manager at Chartio, and that helps them, be up to date with what's going on in Chartio, and helps me kind of be up to date with the growth that we're experiencing in Chartio. And then in general, I'm just hoping that we'll stay regular in our communication and we'll stop having any kind of governance issues come up. Okay, so that's all I had. I don't have Twitter, but CoreOS does. So if you want to follow them, there's their handle. But thanks.